between typhoid and cholera. It is all going to kill you Malawians. Malawians now, you are now a DPP door, you still end up in the slaughterhouse. If you go through the MCP door, you still go into the slaughterhouse. Nothing good. The UTM is neither good because it is a political party which was born out of DPP and out of greed. We all know about UDF. UDF is non-existent. And today I'm urging the supporters of UDF to abandon the sinking ship and follow Phunziro Mvura. Because the UDF is no longer a strong political entity. It is just a rubber stamp of MCP. We have witnessed what they have done recently. The running mate of the presidential candidate for UDF endorsed MCP, which is actually taking our country to a slaughterhouse. Why should you stick to the party which doesn't have any political stamina, which rely on other political parties? So I'm urging UDF supporters to dump UDF and follow Phunziro Mvura, because Phunziro Mvura is the solution to this country. All the leaders who have ruled Malawi are just recycling themselves, leaving this sinking ship for another ship. No tangible solution is coming with them. So we need to do away with the recycled politicians. Malawi remains the same under their leadership. Nothing has changed. So there's a need for alternative, and that alternative is Phunziro Mvura. All past and current politicians who have walked into the corridors of power in the country, they treat corruption and nepotism as the disease when they are only symptoms. We need to look at the root cause of this. And the one who is going to look at the root cause of this is none than Phunziro Mvura. Their solutions haven't worked. That is why Malawi is still regarded as one of the poorest countries. If their solutions worked, Malawi could have improved, could have moved from one of the poorest countries to one of the developed countries. But that has not been attained. That means all politicians who have run the affairs of this country are all failures. If their solutions worked, Malawi would be thriving by now. But Malawi is not thriving. Malawi's economy is on the deathbed. It needs serious resuscitation. And those people who brought that cannot rectify. We need someone who can rectify. As I've already indicated, and I always stress on this, all politicians in Malawi are captured. We need a new phase and a new race. And that is only going to be achieved with Phunziro Mvura. With the ineptitude and mediocrity of our current crop of politicians, what are the biggest problems that the country has faced? The country has faced a lot of problems. And our problems is not lack of resources or minerals or aid. It is the real deficit in discipline, responsibility, and integrity. We have leaders who lacks discipline, who lacks sense of responsibility and integrity. If these three things, discipline, responsibility, and integrity is lacking, nothing can move in a country. We will be moving on the very same spot we have found ourselves in. So we need a leader who is full of discipline, sense of responsibility, and full of integrity, and who has demonstrated that. I have demonstrated that. The Jaguar administration, they offered me the position of a deputy minister. They offered me to work as a director in a public service. When I conducted the demonstrations to rebuke their inefficiency, I refused. I said, I cannot be bribed. You can check with them. You're a journalist. Go check with them, MCP. They offered me a job as a deputy minister. I stress as well as a director in it. public service. I refused because I didn't want to be bribed. That is why I'm saying I am the leader who is standing out on principle of discipline, sense of responsibility, and integrity. I was offered money. I refused. Even right now, as we are preparing for these elections, MCP approached me to say I should join them. They're going to give me 500 million. I refused because I'm standing on my principles. So, our biggest problem is lack of discipline, sense of responsibility, and integrity. And we need a leader who have got such qualities. And that leader is none than Phunziro Mvura. Another biggest problem that we have as a country, because of mediocrity and slackness of our leaders, is the culture of dependence instead of productivity. We have glorified dependency syndrome. It's very pathetic to see a public servant working at our airports, maybe under immigration or MRI, asking for alms from visitors. It's very pathetic. Why? It's because of that culture of dependency. We need to do away with that. We need to inculcate in Malawians the spirit of productivity and hard working so that the dependence syndrome can go. No any country have ever developed with the dependence syndrome. All those developing countries have developed because of productivity. Another problem that we have as a country, it's corruption and nepotism. The DPP-led government was a nepotistic government, full of corrupt people. The same with the current MCP government. Nothing has changed. It's the same old script with different players. So we need to put an end to that. Our problem is not what we don't have. Our problem is how we behave with what we have. We have vast resources. We have fertile lands, we have rivers, we have lakes, we have minerals, but we have failed to utilize them for the general good of our country. That is why I'm coming to open the eyes of Malawians, to appreciate what we have and make best use of what we have. That will only be achieved if you vote for Phunziro Mvura come 16 September 2025. All these problems that I've elaborated, how have they affected us as a country? Youth have no jobs. There is high level of poverty, poor living conditions for the citizens. Trust in leadership is broken. Malawi is more divided than before. I think you have witnessed what the MCP is advocating at the moment. After noticing that they have failed to deliver, they have now resorted to campaign using tribal lines. You heard the Minister of Internal Security on his campaign trail to say these elections are not based on ideology, not on best economic practices, but it is rooted in tribal lines. They were urging the Chiwa people to vote for MCP. They were saying people from Central Region, they should not vote for anyone else but for MCP, which is one of the stupid things that can come from the ruling party. We don't need to divide ourselves. We are all bound by one entity, which is our country, Malawi. So, we should not allow our self-interest to divide us. At the moment, because of these serious problems, these serious challenges, Malawi is a laughing stock. Malawi is no longer on the right channel. Malawi is on the brink of decline if nothing tangible is going to be done. Malawians, your license or your way to economic independence, to proper development, is through the ballot come 16 September 2025. Don't vote for failed politicians. Vote for Phunziro Mvura. After outlining all the challenges that we have, the problems and how they have affected us, what are the solutions now to redeem our country? We need to have a cabinet of not more than 10 ministers. One of the challenging aspects that the MCP or the DPP-led government faced is the bloated cabinet. That means the government is spending much on salaries, allowances, and all other benefits for ministers, which would have been channeled to other economic activities. So we are saying, and I'm promising Malawians, that I will have a 10-man cabinet as one of the solutions to redeem our economy. No luxuries, not luxury vehicles for ministers and deputy ministers. If they want luxury vehicles, let them buy using their own salaries. They should not enjoy using public resources. Every government expense will be published monthly, and Malawians will be able to follow the amount that we have collected through maybe our taxes, through grants, through donations, through enterprises, and how we have put that money to use. Presidential salary will be cut. The budget for State House will be cut so that the money can be channeled to other productive areas, like maximization of production of basic important commodities like fertilizer, improving of education, improvement of health services. We will direct more money to that, not to State House. It is very pathetic that the MCP-led government gifted themselves with the 67 billion just for State House, just learning from April to September, when people are suffering, when our hospitals doesn't have drugs, when schools doesn't have teaching and learning materials. So we are saying, we will cut the salary of the president, we will cut the allowances of the president, we will cut the budget for the State House, and channel it to other economic activities. We will build a local fertilizer manufacturing company, because as you know, Malawi is agro-based economy. We can no longer be importing fertilizer. This will also help us to relieve the pressure of Forex, which the country is burdened with. By importing fertilizer, we are actually depleting our lean Forex reserve. So we need to start fertilizer manufacturing right here in Malawi so that we can cut on the imports and maximize on the exports. We will reform our education system. We will bring action-oriented education system. We have assessed our challenges. We have assessed the root cause of our challenges, and based on Aquinas, one of the prominent philosophers of education, they say education should be designed based on the resources that the country have or a society have and the type of the people that they have. People should be able to identify the resources that they have and devise new improved ways and technology of utilizing them for the general good of the nation. This is the approach that we are going to take. Once we are in government come 16 September 2025, we will review our curriculum to make it more practical. We will bring the education that will understand the resources that we have and how best we can utilize those resources. And we will also look much on the type of education that will build a responsible citizen. We can create wealth, we can stabilize the economy, But if we have irresponsible citizens, nothing can improve in our country. We still have vandalism, we still have corruption, we still have nepotism, we still have tribalism. We need the type of education which will build a responsible citizen who will be able to resist corruption, to resist nepotism, to resist tribalism, and to resist vandalism. We don't even need to depend on aid. We need to start generating our own income using the resources that we have. As I've already indicated, we have fertile land, we have rivers, we have lakes, which we can use for agriculture. That is why we are going to come up with new methods of agriculture. We are not reinventing the wheel. We will use the very same concept of the mega farms, but in a proper manner. How are we going to do this? We are going to amalgamate the small farms into one major farm. Different farmers will consolidate their land to be one mega farm, one enterprise, which will be registered as a company. And those farmers, their equity in that company will be their land. Because they have contributed the land to the company, we will employ these farmers on the very same mega farm as laborers, who will be now receiving salaries at the end of the month to be able to feed their families and to improve their living conditions. At the end of the growing season, once we sell the farm produce, we will give them dividends because they are now shareholders. They have contributed to that company. Those dividends, they will use to improve their living condition, namely building better houses, having clean and potable water. Part of the dividends that they have received will be paid to the government in form of tax. And this tax will not go to the central government, will be reinvested back in that particular area where that mega farm is. And that's what we are now dubbing as a new rural transformation program, using their own resources to transform their own lives. On that one, each and every community will now be able to be self-reliant. They will be able to cater for themselves without relying on the central government on their own needs. And we will also review the AGCOM program. The AGCOM program at the moment haven't helped the country. We have borrowed money from World Bank, invested in AGCOM program, but that program have not yet gave us the dividends that we wanted. The same AGCOM is in Zambia, it is in Kenya, it is in Tanzania, but our friends there have benefited from such programs. We all know we consume a lot of products produced from Zambia, which came to be through the support of AGCOM. While we're here, we waste our time building warehouses. We haven't even improved on our agriculture. We haven't even improved on our productivity. We haven't even improved on our agricultural efficiency. So we will review that program to be in line with the needs of Malawians. On health, Phunziro Mvura will advocate much on primary health, which is less expensive and which is easier to attain. When we are saying so, we are not neglecting the secondary health or tertiary health, but we will put much emphasis on the primary health, which emphasizes much on the prevention than cure. In so doing, we will be able to spend less on effective health services, and we will channel the money which was supposed to go into tertiary and secondary health to other economic activities. How are we going to do this? We employ more for health surveillance assistance to help on community health, which is pioneered through hygiene and proper sanitation, so that people cannot get sick, so that the government cannot spend much in buying drugs or training more doctors, because people are not sick. We emphasize much on that. We also have the problem of Forex. How are we going to fix this problem of Forex? We have what we call short-term solution, medium-term solution, as well as long-term solution. On the short-term solution, we will negotiate with our neighboring countries, Mozambique, Zambia, and Tanzania, so that we can be trading using our local currency. We use their local currency when we are trading amongst ourselves. This is feasible. They are using a Namibian dollar. The same with a South African. A South African can move from South Africa to Namibia and be able to buy using a rand. There is a proper coordination between the Reserve Bank of Namibia and the Reserve Bank of South Africa for repatriation of the local currency. We will explore the same principle and the same practice so that we can ease the pressure on the Forex reserve, which is currently in shortfall in our country. That's the short-term solution. The medium-term solution, we will establish what we call one border post market, just like what we have now on one border post. But now we are going to have a common border market on our borders. For example, Zambians could be bringing to such markets the products which is selling highly here in Malawi, and Malawians will be bringing products that the Zambians are looking from Malawi, and will be trading using local currency. That's the medium-term solution. On the long-term solution now, we will reduce the corporate tax. All the companies will have their tax cut so that they can be able to make a lot of profits. If they make a lot of profits, they will be able to create more jobs. They will be able to reinvest, diversify, expand, and scale up production, and improve on the quality of their production. If they improve on the quality of their production, our products will be attractive on the foreign markets. We'll be able to export quality products to overseas markets and get the much needed Forex reserve. And then you might ask yourself to say, is this feasible? How is this going to be achieved? The government needs money. It relies on the corporate tax. If they cut the tax, where